Naniwa needs to turn this around. Can he do it, or is Soulkey going to shut this down in perhaps the most one-sided series here today? Down here in the bottom right, in the red, he needs your love, he needs your support. He is Naniwa. And over here in the upper left, we have the #1 ranked Zerg, the #1 ranked player in the entire world. Give it up for Soulkey. By the way, we just got an update here. Deer is currently beating Teja 2-0?
2-0.
2-0. 2-0 so far. So,
well, if there's anyone in this tournament that can beat Soulkey, Tasteless, it is Deer.
Wow. That's going to be, if things go the way that they're looking right now, we're going to have a pretty cool match next. So, let's talk about this map. It is, we kind of brushed on this earlier, but for the noobs out there, you can see that there's an expansion. Let's take the bottom, for instance. Over here at the bottom, right here, that's the natural. Then you go to the bottom left. Here's the third base. Now, these bases are easy to acquire, but if you go up to the left a little bit, there's the fourth. Now, that's closer to the opposing player, and same with the other expansion on the other side of the map over here. Now, why does that matter? Because Zergs always want to be ahead of expansions against Protoss, which means after Zerg has the third base and the Protoss has his third base, when Zerg is forced to take his fourth, it's a very easy point of attack for the Protoss. So it's pretty typical to see players draw the game out until that phase, and then either try to, usually try to keep the Zerg just stuck on 3 base versus 3 base, which puts them in an econ deficit, and then you know, the result in the long run is that Zerg loses and Protoss wins. We'll see if Naniwa can get there, but I can tell you guys 100% Soulkey's going to do everything in his power to stop that.
Well, he is going to try to stop that, and he is building 6 lings and sending them across the map. That could be a bit annoying for Naniwa, because Naniwa is doing the greediest build in the entire game, which is going for a Nexus first into a gateway behind his minerals. So he's a long way from really having a Zealot out there to defend, and these 6 Zerglings are almost to his natural.
Yeah, you make an excellent point, Artosis. This may be another moment where rock beats scissor. The Lings are now coming up here, and they're going to be going after the probes. Naniwa needs to keep as many probes as possible alive here.
Oh, and so far so good. Kills 1 off, kills a 2nd off. Already really some effective Zerglings.
The Lings now backing out. The Zealot is going to go ahead and chase him down here, and also it looks like he's not going to be able to really mine from this second base for as long as those Lings are there.
You know, these Lings are going to continue to mic around. Look at that, chasing away the probes, costing Naniwa a lot of mining time, forcing Naniwa to make a 2nd Zealot, which he probably did not want to make, and now going back up after the probes.
So the Lings just continuing not to do so much damage as in getting kills, but to make mining at the second base not a viable option, which in another way hurts Naniwa.
He has done some economic damage. In fact, made a couple more Lings to chase away the probe on the map, and that's going to leave Naniwa a little bit blind.
Again, chasing that probe away. Yeah, he is just keeping him in the dark right now. Soulkey is once again taking control of this game. But it should be noted that Naniwa did not take the same kind of damage he took in the early game of game #1.
No, certainly not.
Do not be confused by that, because game #1, Naniwa was hit really hard. Now we have Naniwa actually pushing out, but it looks like a potential counterattack here by the Lings of Soulkey to try to keep Naniwa from taking any more control of the map.
This is some really nice play here from Soulkey. He's forcing some of the units to come back. For instance, these couple of Stalkers that aren't going across the map, because Naniwa has a lot of units right now that he had to make to defend. So this buys Soulkey a little bit more time to drone up so that he doesn't have to make so many Zerglings so early.
Now he is going to take this Overlord out here, but one of the characteristics of Soulkey is that he's always way ahead in Overlord production.
Yes.
You rarely see Soulkey actually supply blocked by a killed Overlord.
That is for certain, Tasteless. But he is going to lose yet another Overlord over on the side of the map. In the meantime, Naniwa's doing a great job patrolling around and seeing what sort of damage he can get done.
This is actually stunning play here from Naniwa to reclaim this much of the game, considering how this started out. The gateway wall-in is now there. So we have the robotics bay and the 3 gateways warping in now. He may try to do a little bit more damage over here in the upper right.
You know, at least he's forced a good amount of Zerglings. These could have been drones if he didn't force his way out onto the map, but it looks like he's not really going to get that much damage done.
No, and it looks like the Queen's now going to hit that mothership core. Can he get that away?
Oh, he does not want to lose that.
Barely gets that away.
Ooh.
And now the Stalkers will have to retreat. Nice save. I actually thought he was going to lose that for a second.
Oh, if you lose that mothership core in a situation like that, you're going to be kicking yourself for the rest of the game. Luckily, he does get it away. And he's making some Immortals at home on 2 bases.
Okay.
I think we're going to see an Immortal all in Tasteless.
I believe you are absolutely correct, Dartosis. And with a few more gateways here, I think we can pretty much confirm that. So this game is similar to game number 2, but it is being executed in a different fashion. The idea is there. This is a 2-base timing that's meant to do damage so that Soulkey doesn't get to go into the late game. The difference is the unit composition, the timing of the attack, and the way he will engage the other player's base.
This is a very old build and a very scary build indeed, Tasteless. He has 8 gateways, a couple Immortals, that Warp Prism is on the way, and he is moving across the map right now.
This certainly makes me think of somebody named Parting, who we casted last year, winning the WCS last year. Was incredible, but is this build now anachronistic? That's the question you got to ask. Is this build going to be something that's going to be doable? Let's find out now.
Oh, he's got to be careful here. Those Zerglings getting on top of his sentries. He cannot be losing the sentries. Throws out a lot of force fields.
There with the Warp Prism.
Ooh, really well done. And his force fields are good, Tasteless. He's going to hold on to this position for now.
Yeah, so far, actually, so good here from Naniwa, continuing to warp in. That was a very peculiar engagement, but he actually did fine there. Now he's continuing to go up. The Roaches are chasing him down. But, you know, with a push like this with the Warp Prism, it's okay if he loses the pylon, as long as he still has the supply.
Well, he's got that Warp Prism, so he will warp in some more units. The thing is, he doesn't have too many force fields.
He needs to get in there before those spine crawlers finish.
He's pushing forward. The Zergling's trying to slow him down. He does throw down force fields. In the meantime, Roaches coming up from behind. The spine crawlers do, in fact, finish. The Zergling's coming up. 2 of the sentries are caught.
The force fields actually trapping the Protoss' units instead of the Zergs there. Now Naniwa hitting the rest of these Roaches. And it looks like he's going to look for another point of entry here. And that will be in between the second base and the third base. We don't know which way from the second base to the third base he'll go. He'll have to read that when he gets there. Spine crawlers now being moved up and relocated. Force fields thrown down.
Those Zerglings dealing a lot of damage, getting right on top of this army. Not a lot of force fields left, keeping Roaches back. And in fact, most of his sentries are still alive, so this push is not quite over yet.
The spine crawlers are in position, so he wants to relocate again, but he's having a hard time in that position. Those force fields are so good, wiping out those Roaches. More sentries and zealots now warped in over here at the upper right, but the spine crawlers getting into position now.
Oh my god, those force fields once again so good. Tasteless, he's targeting down these spine crawlers. The Zerglings do come around, but then they're going to retreat, waiting for Roaches to come as well.
Isolated the spine crawlers from the army, taking him out. He might be able to kill Soulkey here.
He is just warping in so many unit states. He's doing such a great job. Another great force field goes down. These 2 Immortals so valuable, and it looks like Naniwa is starting to break through.
He's gonna potentially win this. It's all gonna come down to control. Not many force fields left. He does once again isolate a few more Roaches. These Immortals are in such a good position here.
He's got to be careful, though. His sentry count getting low once again, trapping those Roaches in here. It looks like he should be able to take out this third hatchery, but Soulkey is continuing to produce a lot of Zerglings and a lot more Roaches.
The hatch is getting lower. He could go for a snipe, and it goes down.
All right, it looks like Naniwa going to back up for now. The Queen's coming in, helping to deal some additional damage. Soulkey has to be really careful. If he loses another chunk of Roaches, this game could just go to Naniwa in a matter of seconds.
We may be beginning to see Naniwa's comeback here. Now he fights him back down here, but remember what I said earlier on about Zergs on bases. They always want to be up one additional base to their opponent. A Zerg on 2 base against a Protoss on 2 base. You got to say Protoss is going to be in the advantage there.
Well, right now, Soulkey's doing kind of a good job here. He's got a lot of units. It's a very scary area, but Nano has decided that he can fight it. Up comes this Roach Concave, but the force fields go down, and Nano is doing a great job.
He's continuing to push him back here, now in complete control of the map. Soulkey tried to cut him off on the exit there so he could then retake the third again. And at least then he'd be back to square one, but now Naniwa can start scanning the map. And look, this is already forcing Soulkey to get into a defensive position again. This is already forcing Soulkey to not think about a third base whatsoever.
Naniwa is on the comeback trail, Tasos. Look at this. He's pushing up once again. His supply is superior. Soulkey trying to hold on this ramp, but there are so many sentries and both Immortals left alive. The force fields go down, and it looks like Soulkey going to lose even more. GG!